world marker, we place that into his first spot. We have refilled now the progress board, and now we will do the growth phase already. We will either take a new worker or some gold, food or stone. So let's see. Oh, already playing. The setup is so fast in this game. You haven't really realized that you have set up the game, and then you're just in the middle of gameplay. So we need to look at the board. What do I want to do this turn? Well, I know that I have sort of a little bonus in military. Even though I have that bonus, I need a legionnaire to give me this raid value so I can do these battles. They're always nice, these battles, so I think I want to buy battle and the Ziggurat, perhaps. But getting a colony is nice early on, so perhaps I will be placing some legionaries and buying this battle. Constructing the city wall. I want the city wall because it gives me 2 stone. Stone is such a rare commodity in this game, so if I can get this card out, that will be great. Can I do it? We'll see. Alrighty dighty, I know approximate what I want to do. These are my resources. 6 gold, I know I want to buy something, and something was expensive. So should I take money? But I would need food because I need legionaries and they require me to pay food. This symbol means that every run I have to pay a food. So I probably would need more food than what I have already. So I earn resources by placing my workers here on these bases. And it will cost me, basically it will cost me stone to place place workers here on these spots. And the point with this progress card is that I can buy cards off the track and replace my buildings already. So now instead of this aqueduct I will have a synagogue, and thereby I can tweak my culture or my civilization into a certain direction. More food, more stability, more warlike, and so forth. And I want to build wonders because that gives me a lot of victory points. Colonies provide me an income every round, or it could be military might, or it could be money, or it could be culture, or something else, stone even. So I know I want to buy stuff, and I also want food, but I can generate food by placing workers here. I have 6 stone and I have only 5 workers, so I should be able to place all my workers. So I will take 3 money in my growth phase, 3 cash. Then we have new events, and we do the new events and the architect thing in one go. So the game lasts over 8 turns, and there are 2 turns per age, and for every time, well, every time we change age, there's some scoring, but we also change cards, so new stuff will come out that better fit that age. So here in the Antiquity, all the antique stuff, I guess, will come out. And also the game comes with event cards, so that every age has a certain set of event cards that you flip, and they have a special, well, not ability, but effect on the game. So it gives an extra flavor to the game. Could be something that affects everybody, or just the one with less military might, or with less stability, and so forth. But that is in a multiplayer game. In a solitary game, you don't use the cards. Instead, we use these, and these are tiles, or AI. It tells us what the shadow player will do. And we pick out all the tiles that correspond to the age we're in, and we are in the first age. So every tile with 1 on, it's 6, and we will only draw 2 per game. So it will tell us, first of all, it will tell us the military might and the stability of the shadow player. It will tell us how many architect comes out. And architect, you need them to build wonders. It will tell us how much culture the shadow player will accumulate, which is added to his existing culture. Military might and stability are never added to the existing values. They are reset every round. But the culture here is not, it's added. And thereby he will build up culture throughout the game, which you have to raise and keep track of. And it tells you about the famine. So every round, Well, at the end of this round we would have to pay 4 extra food, which would have been devastating for me. Luckily I'm only showing you, I haven't drawn yet. Also, there's a certain die roll and something special happens when these effects come out. In this case, when the shadow player rolls a die, he will get +3, and again he scores a 5, he will get +3 military might. If he scores a 6, he will get +2 stability. On a 1 to 4 he will take cards from the progress board, so he will also buy cards. So what I will do is that I will shuffle these tiles, draw this tile here, boom. Okay, so let's see what happened. The shadow player has 2 military might. That's the same as me, so we are equal in military might. He will have 3 stability, so he is leading on stability. And books, he will get 1 book, 1 culture, so he will increase from 2 to 3. Architects, well, there's quite a lot of architects, 3 actually. So this number is added to your base number, but in a solitary game your base number is 0. So 3 architects are up for grabs. And yeah, it will be a famine with -2 food, so that means that I have a job to do in getting enough food. Also, on a 5 he will take 2 architects, and on a 6 he will gain 2 books. Okay. I'm not sure that was a good one, but let's play it out and see what happens. Because now we are in the action phase, and we start with the first player, which is me. So I can buy a card, deploy workers, and hire architects. Every time I buy a card and hire an architect or deploy a worker on military, I will need to roll the fate die. And that has a chance of coming up with a 5 or 6. So then the shadow player will act. So I need to think about what I'm going to do. My plan was really to acquire some nice stuff from the board. After careful considerations, I have found out what I want to do. But first let's just talk a little bit about these cards. The card with a blue frame are buildings, and card with red frames, they are known out now, they are military. These guys, the grey ones, are battles, which you buy and cash in instantly. And the green ones here are colonies, which will add to your board, and you will gain this bonus every turn from now on until you get rid of that colony. The leader is something that will gain you the ability that he has on this card. So Buddha here, he will give you an instant boost of 3 stability. But because he is well, a slow going guy, you always must skip your first turn. So it comes with a price, and I'm not willing to pay that price for 3 stability. These yellow ones are these Golden Age cards. If I buy this card, I can immediately get 2 stone, or I can pay 1 resource and gain 1 victory point. Actually, that's quite powerful. 1 victory point, that's something. My experience is that stone is very valuable. So I'm actually going to pay 3 gold and acquire the city wall. The city wall will give me 2 stones and 1 stability every round. Yeah, 2 stones every round and an instant boost in stability. These symbols here means that if I, at the end of the game, when all the rounds are finished, if I have workers here, the first worker will give me 1 victory point. The second worker will also give me 1 victory point. But the third and fourth workers and so forth, they will give me 0 victory points. So only the 2 first workers here will give me victory points. But I'm not sure I will have this card at the end of the game. Probably not, but I will like it now, because then I can gather some stone. And I can place this card in any of these spots, replacing what was said already. Both the farm and the quarry, both the farm and the quarry will give me stone if I place workers there, but having this will improve those significantly. I will actually replace the farm, so that, because the farm will give me 1 food. I can get that from the aqueduct better, so I place the farm here. No, I don't get this bonus yet because I haven't placed a worker on it, but I have bought the city walls for 3 gold. That was quite expensive, but I hope it's worth it. I need now to take out my dice tray, because I have bought a card, and that means I need to roll the die to see what the AI or the shadow player is doing. So let's see what he's doing. He got a 2. Oh, okay. Okay, that means that he will take a look at this board. So on a roll of 2 he will buy every card in the second row. And they all are gone from the game. So I mean 2 colonies here and a siege, a battle, the siege of Alicia, are out of the game. The shadow player bought them. So that's not good. There are much fewer cards now. Luckily this battle is still here, so I can get that. And then, well, as you can see, it quickly sort of diminishes the opportunities here on the board. Yeah, so he bought that. I'm going to place a worker on the city wall because I bought it, so I better use it. Have to pay a stone, but I will place a worker there. Paying 3, getting back 2 stones, and I will get an instant stability increase. Like that. Well, I find that stability doesn't matter too much in a solitary game. We'll see if the same thing happens now. Well, yeah, so far to me it hasn't really mattered that much. But my main point here was the stone anyway, and not the stability. So let me repeat that action to really bolster up on stone. Place another worker there in the city walls. Increase my stability again. Now I place workers. When I do that, he doesn't get to roll his shadow player die. But for anything else, he will indeed roll the die. So let's just keep our options a little bit open. I also I want to yes, I want to pay 1 stone to place a worker here on the military, so that I can get +3 military. So over on the military track I am increasing from 3 to 5. No, I'm not. I'm increasing from 2 to 5, of course. Yep, and the reason I did that was so that I could get this raid value, because I plan to to acquire this card here, and I will get the raid value in resources when I do that. I want food. If I can get this, I can get 3 food and I'm good for this turn. But I placed a worker not on a building but on a military spot, which means the die. So if I'm unlucky, he will roll a 4 and then he will take row 4. And of course I roll a 4. Of course, what else? What else? So he buys all the cards here in row 4, including the one I wanted. I should mention that if there is a war in the row he is buying, the shadow player will start the war. If I can conquer Nubia, it will actually give me 2 money every round. So that is quite good, quite valuable, and I only need 3 military might to do that, and I have 5. What? Are there any other tempting cards? The synagogue is tempting because it gives me books, culture, which I don't have and I would need. I have no buildings that can give me that either in my nation, so perhaps I should do that. The synagogue instead. choices. Or gold, which would provide me food every round. I don't have 7 military might, which I need to purchase gold, which is up here. And it's too expensive. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I would take Nubia. Yep, I'm buying Nubia with 2 gold from my stash, 1 gold change, and I'm buying Nubia. I have 3 military might, so I'm good. So my newly acquired colony goes into one of my 2 colony spaces on my board. So like that. It means that the shadow player is doing 5. Well, let's have a look at the tile. It says on a 5, acquire 2 architects. So he's presumably building some kind of wonder. He's taking 2 architects. Oops, my light just went out, so hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. It's significantly darker now in the room, but yeah, well, let's try it and see. So he acquired 2 architects. Again, it's my turn, and I do this until all my workers are out, or until I pass. Well, I can just as well buy the last thing I want if there are any more things I want. No, I don't think I want anymore. The synagogue, it's still tempting. Yeah, why not? I'm doing that. Why not? I'm buying with 1 gold, buying the synagogue. And replacing the quarry, because I'm not going to place anything in the quarry anymore. The city wall has completely replaced that. 1 gold, and now also the synagogue will be a better gold mine than the quarry was. So yeah, the synagogue is out. And again, I roll the die for the AI player. 2, he buys all the cards in row number 2, but the row number 2 is empty. Blah, blah, blah. Got you there. There are really, no more cards I want. So I'm going to place my last 2 workers. So I need food probably. Let's see. There's a famine of 2 food, and my legionaries are requiring 1 food. So I'm 1 food short. So I would have to place a guy in the aqueduct, paying 1 of these stone, getting 2 back. And my last guy, no point in placing him in military might. The synagogue, yep, I'm putting him in the synagogue so he can generate me some gold. Paying 1 stone. So the requirements are almost always 1 stone, particularly in the early ages. This will go up dramatically, so I need to pack up on stones. I would actually prefer a colony with stones, but there are none. So that means that I have placed my last worker and there's nothing else I can do. I can still buy cards, but I won't do that. We finished with the action phase and we go into production phase. And in the production phase we will find out how much gold I produce and how much gold I use, and the same with corn, stone and books. So let's just do that. And that is quite straightforward. I just look at the board, starting with gold. Gold first. Oh, you can't see that. But anyway, I'm starting with gold, and I see that the synagogue gives me 2 gold. You see, the round numbers are stuff that I will get every round. Oh, I forgot, when I placed the guy on the city wall, I would go up. No, when I placed this guy in the aqueduct, I needed to increase my stability, so I'm doing that. My stability is now 3. Okay, sorry about that. So my guys here in the city wall, they produce instant boosts, which are squares, and a round boost, which is every, well, round. Yeah, round for round. That's easy to remember, right? Round for round. Good. And the same in the synagogue. So he gives me $2 every round if there's a guy here. If there were 2 guys, I would get 4, of course. But now he gives me $2. And this guy, he will actually... This is a black number and a -1, so it's very clear and very obvious that he will actually eat 1 food every round. So, but we're not on food, we're on gold now. 2 gold. And Nubia gives me 2 gold, so that is 4 gold. Yep, so I gain 4 gold. Perfect. Finish with gold, going into corn. Yep, so this guy will eat 1 corn and this guy will produce 2 corns. So that's a net gain of 1 corn or 1 food. Probably should say food and not corn. Then we do the same for stone. 2 guys in the city wall. For some reason that gives me 4 stone. A bit hard to understand why actually. Perhaps they're tearing down the walls and using the stone for something else. I don't know. And that's it. That's the only stone thing on the board. means that next round I have 3, 4, 5 stone to build with, and that's enough to place 5 workers if I want to. Stone and books. Let's have a look at books. Culture. The synagogue gives me 1 culture. That's quite nice because it means that I will increase my culture to 2, trailing just 1 behind the shadow player. That's the production. Now we determine the player order for the next round, and it is as per normal rules. The one with the most military might is player number 1. So if you look over here on the board, you see that I am player number 1 because I have 5 military might and that poor shadow player only has 2. Next we resolve any wars. The war space is empty, no wars yet, we'll see next round. Then we do the events, but there are no events in a solitary game. And we resolve famine. And if we were between ages, we will score, but we are not. The famine is, as stated on the tile, a -2, so I have to pay -2 food. I eat this, yum yum yum, and I'm good. Now, if I couldn't, then I would have to pay with culture. And you don't want to do that. Right, and that brings us to the end of the round. The first step, or the first half of the Antiquities.